I have a sleeping habit. I like to sleep with a body pillow tucked between my legs. One night, I suddenly heard the thoughts of my crush. Don't hold so tight. I can barely breathe. I was so scared. I kicked out hard. Immediately, I heard him let out a low, pained voice in my ear. I stared at my body pillow, seriously doubting whether I just had an auditory hallucination. Why would I hear Ryan Carter's voice? I've been crushing on him so hard that I was hallucinating. Kind of scary, no? I needed to verify this. The cat-shaped body pillow was 5 feet long, soft, and adorable. I just ordered it 2 days ago. I absolutely loved how soft and cuddly it was. But right now, I was ruthless. I punched that's belly hard. The next second, Ryan's video call came through without warning. My eyes went wide. It was 2 a.m. Why was he video calling me? We'd only added each other on social media by chance before. We'd barely talked. I answered the call, shocked and suspicious. Ryan's face appeared on my phone screen. That face that was perfect from every angle. When I started freshman year, I fell for him at first sight. It was totally because of that handsome face. I really wanted to act on my attraction. But unfortunately, Ryan was famously untouchable at Thompson University. You could admire from afar, but never get close. So I could only secretly have a crush on him. I swallowed and asked a stupid question. Is this Ryan Carter? Ryan's eyes were red-rimmed, his gaze lacking its usual cold composure, like someone who'd been bullied badly. His voice was also strange, hoarse and restrained, like he was hiding some kind of pain. Yeah, what are you doing in the middle of the night? What else could I be doing? Sleeping, obviously, I said, pretending to be calm. Ryan clenched his jaw, hesitating to speak, and everything suddenly went quiet. At that moment, even though I didn't see Ryan's lips move, I clearly heard his voice in my ear. Can't let Lemon find out I'm synced with her body pillow. Otherwise, she definitely won't hold me while sleeping anymore. I was confused. It took me 3 seconds to accept the shocking news. Ryan was synced with my body pillow, and I could hear his thoughts. Brian took a deep breath, his breathing very unstable. Your body pillow is very cute, but you don't need to punch it so hard. It might get hurt, too. My fist was still on the cat's body. The poor pillow dented from my punch. It must hurt a lot, right? I sheepishly moved my fist away. Feeling a bit guilty, I gently rubbed the cat's head. Ryan's handsome face on the video seemed to flush with color. His cheeks immediately turned red. Oh my God, he was actually blushing. I ran my finger from the cat's head to its tail. Ryan's expression immediately became strange, like he was holding something back. Veins gradually bulged on his forehead. I pretended not to know and asked, "What's wrong? You look really uncomfortable." Ryan clenched his fists. "I'm fine. Just got bitten by a mosquito." He said it seriously, but his thoughts told me something different. Lemon touched me. So happy. I like when she rubs me. Rub, more like it. I looked at him in surprise. I never expected that the cold and aloof Ryan was secretly this shy. But what should I do? So cute. I think I like him even more now. The corner of my mouth curved up into a sweet smile. My fingers gently traced over the pillow's soft body. Don't worry. I really like this pillow. I'll take good care of it. Knowing Ryan was synced with the body pillow, I didn't throw it away that night. I still held it tucked between my legs while sleeping. This had been my sleeping habit since childhood. Without a pillow, I couldn't sleep at all. The next morning, I woke up refreshed. My good roommate and best friend, Sophie, pulled me to the dining hall for breakfast. Hurry up, Lemon. If we're late, the fresh steamed buns will be gone. I just lifted my foot, about to turn into the path leading to the dining hall. A familiar voice suddenly rang in my ear. When can I openly call her Lemon, too? I want to eat with her. I stopped abruptly. My eyes scanned around. Then I saw Ryan standing in the corner with his cool, aloof aura. Noticing my gaze, his eyes focused slightly. Then he gave me a cold, distant nod. My heart raced. Hell, he was so good at acting cool. Academic genius in public, clingy puppy in private. This contrast, it totally hit my sweet spot. I suppressed my rapidly beating heart, restraining myself to just one glance at him before quickly leaving. Ryan's aggrieved thoughts immediately rang in my ear. She left? She really won't look at me more than once? No, I have to eat with Lemon. I couldn't help but smile mischievously. Why are you suddenly eating at the second dining hall today? A loud voice came from nearby. Then a pleasant, cool male voice spoke beside me. The air is better here. You can find a seat by the window. Excuse me, is anyone sitting here? I slowly raised my head. Sophie, across from me, excitedly winked at me. She knew I had a crush on Ryan. Having a chance to spend time with my crush. Sophie was more excited than me and immediately agreed. Yes, yes, yes.
Sit down. Sit next to Lemon.
Ryan looked at me for permission. Is that okay, Miss Wilson? Miss Wilson? What a distant way to address me. I wonder who was being held all last night calling me Lemon hundreds of times. I nodded just as distantly, coolly hummed in acknowledgement. Sure enough, his agreed. Thoughts came through. Lemon is so cold to me. Did I do something wrong? Ryan and his roommate Jake sat down with their trays. His expression was slightly dejected, his cool aura like it was shooting ice daggers in all directions. Jake keenly noticed his low mood. What's wrong, bro? Jake asked, biting into a bun. Are you feeling sick somewhere? Before Ryan could say anything, Jake volunteered information. I told you you're young, but you can't do this to yourself.
You took so many cold showers last night.
No matter how healthy you are, you can't abuse your body like this. Sophie looked over in surprise, explained, he's just a germaphobe. A germaphobe? I blinked innocently. At that moment, Ryan snuck a glance at me. Lemon looks so cute when she smiles. I'm not a germaphobe. Jake's just making assumptions. If Lemon hadn't been holding me all night, I wouldn't have needed 6 cold showers. Such sweet torture. 6 times cold showers. I was shocked inside and snuck another glance at him.
Wow.
Lemon looked at me again. Running into her today was definitely right. Hope she'll look at me one more time tomorrow. For the next few days, I ran into Ryan at the dining hall every day. During the day, we were cool, distant classmates and meal buddies. At night, we're sleep buddies. I wasn't sure why there was this connection and mind reading, but Ryan was slowly appearing more in my life. This made me have thoughts I shouldn't have. Maybe I could get closer to him. These past nights, I fell asleep to his thoughts every day. Sometimes his sudden soft moans made me blush. The cold and proud Ryan was actually like this in private. I bit into my pork bun and glanced at Ryan sitting across from me. His handsome face was rosy and glowing. The corner of his mouth had a rare smile, no longer cold like a spring breeze. Sitting together, I could clearly feel the atmosphere between us had become somewhat ambiguous. But we both tacitly let the ambiguous atmosphere spread around us without anyone breaking it. Anyone sitting here? A slender girl with delicate features walked over with a tray. Ryan's expression was cold. It's taken. The girl looked around and laughed. Where's anyone? They'll be here soon. Ryan frowned slightly, looking somewhat impatient. The girl tucked her hair behind her ear, smiling charmingly. Well, no one's here now, so I'll sit here first. Ryan, long time no see.
Ryan didn't respond.
He held his chopsticks and placed a dumpling on my plate.
Try this.
The corners of my lips curved up. The unhappiness from the girl's interruptions strangely diminished. Seeing no one paying attention to her, Jessica didn't get angry. It's okay if Ryan won't talk to me. Grandpa invited you to dinner tonight anyway. You'll come, right? Jessica said this while giving me a challenging look. Ryan still ignored her, continuing to serve me food. Jessica was so angry she bit into her meat. After the meal, Jessica blocked me at the door. My family and Ryan's are old family friends. We're going to have an arranged marriage in the future. My good mood instantly vanished. I laughed coldly, my tone indifferent. So what? Jessica sneered. Right now, Ryan's just playing around with you. His future marriage partner is me. I said, oh, what a coincidence. I'm just playing around with your Ryan, too. I don't care who he marries in the future, I'll have my fun first. Jessica probably didn't expect me to say something like that. She froze on the spot, couldn't speak for a long time. Although telling off Jessica like that felt good at the time, thinking about it afterward, I was still really upset. I knew the gap between Ryan and me. Our family backgrounds from childhood, the educational resources we had access to. They were worlds apart. But being pointed out like this to my face, my self-esteem still took a hit. That night, I didn't really cuddle the body pillow and just went straight to sleep. Ryan's dissatisfied thoughts rang in my ear. Why won't Lemon hold me tonight? Did I do something wrong? Is she angry at me? The pillow lay abandoned at the edge of my bed, and I could practically feel Ryan's confusion and hurt radiating through our strange connection. My chest tightened with an emotion I couldn't quite name. Part of me wanted to reach for the pillow, to feel that comforting warmth I'd grown so accustomed to. But Jessica's words echoed in my mind like shards of broken glass, each one cutting deeper than the last. Playing around. That's all this was to them, wasn't it? Some kind of game where I was the only one who didn't know the rules. I'm losing her. I can feel it. What did Jessica say to her? Ryan's panicked thoughts made my eyes sting. I squeezed them shut, willing myself not to cry. This was ridiculous. I'd known him for such a short time, and yet the thought of losing whatever fragile thing we'd built together felt like losing a piece of myself. The room was suffocating. The digital clock on my nightstand glowed an angry red, each passing minute mocking my sleeplessness. Sophie's gentle snoring from the other side of the room provided a steady rhythm to my spiraling thoughts. I turned onto my side, then my back, then my other side. Nothing worked. My body felt wrong without the pillow tucked between my legs, without Ryan's presence warming the edges of my consciousness. Please, Lemon. Just one touch. I need to know you're still there. The desperation in his mental voice broke something in me. Before I could think it through, my hand reached out and grabbed the cat pillow, pulling it close. The fabric was cool against my skin, but within seconds, warmth bloomed through it. Thank God. Thank God. I thought I'd lost you. A single tear escaped down my cheek, disappearing into my pillowcase. Ryan's relief washed over me in waves, and I felt his metaphysical presence settle, like he'd been holding his breath and could finally exhale. But I couldn't shake the heaviness in my chest, the knowledge that this connection, whatever it was, existed in borrowed time. The next morning arrived with cruel brightness. Sunlight streamed through the gaps in our curtains, painting golden stripes across the dorm room floor. I felt hollowed out, my eyes gritty from lack of sleep. Sophie was already up, humming some pop song while she sorted through her makeup bag. "You look terrible," she said bluntly, turning to face me. Her expression shifted from casual observation to genuine concern. "Lemon, what's wrong? Did something happen?" I sat up slowly, my joints protesting. "Jessica cornered me yesterday. Said she and Ryan are going to have an arranged marriage." Sophie's face darkened. She abandoned her makeup entirely and sat on the edge of my bed. That witch. I knew she was trouble the moment she sat down uninvited. She grabbed my hand, her palm warm and reassuring. "But listen, you can't let her get in your head. Ryan clearly likes you. Anyone with eyes can see that." "Can they?" My voice came out smaller than I intended. Or am I just convenient? A fun distraction before he marries into the right family? "Lemon Wilson, I have never heard you talk like this." Sophie squeezed my hand harder, her eyes fierce. "The girl I know doesn't back down just because some privileged princess waves her family name around. You like him, don't you? Actually like him?" I nodded, not trusting my voice. "Then fight for it.
Talk to him.
Figure out what this really is." She stood up, pulling me with her. "But first, breakfast. You can't make life-changing decisions on an empty stomach. That's literally rule number one of being human." Despite everything, a small smile tugged at my lips. Sophie had a way of making the world feel manageable, like problems were just puzzles waiting to be solved. We made our way to the dining hall, and I found myself both hoping and dreading that Ryan would be there. The morning air was crisp, carrying the scent of fresh-cut grass and the distant aroma of coffee and bacon. Students milled about in various states of wakefulness, some clutching their phones like lifelines, others engaged in animated conversation. When we entered the dining hall, my eyes immediately found him. It was like my body had developed its own Ryan-seeking radar. He sat at our usual table, but something was different. His shoulders were tense, his jaw tight. Dark circles shadowed his eyes, and his normally pristine appearance seemed slightly disheveled. His hair, usually perfectly styled, fell across his forehead in a way that made him look vulnerable. "Did she come? Please let her come. I can't go another day without seeing her properly." Our eyes met across the room, and the connection sparked like an electrical current. For a moment, everything else fell away. The chattering students, the clatter of trays, the hum of the ventilation system. It was just him and me and this invisible thread pulling us together. Then Jake said something that made Ryan break eye contact, and the spell shattered. I grabbed a tray with shaking hands, loading it with food I wasn't sure I could eat. Sophie guided me toward the table, her hand a steadying presence on my lower back. "Morning," Ryan said as we approached. His voice was carefully neutral, but I could hear the undercurrent of anxiety. His fingers drummed against the table in an uncharacteristic display of nervousness. "Morning," I replied, matching his tone. I sat down across from him, the same seat I'd occupied for the past week. This close, I could see the exhaustion etched into his features, the slight redness in his eyes that suggested he'd slept as poorly as I had.
She won't even look at me.
I ruined everything. Should I just tell her the truth? But what if she thinks I'm insane? I wanted to laugh at the irony. Here we were, connected by this impossible, magical bond, and we still couldn't talk to each other honestly. Instead, we sat in painful silence, pushing food around our plates, the awkwardness so thick I could practically taste it. Jake, bless him, tried to fill the silence with his usual chatter. He talked about the basketball game last night, some drama in his economics class, anything to break the tension. Sophie joined in gamely, and I was grateful for their efforts even as I remained locked in this staring contest with my breakfast. So, Ryan, Jake said, his tone shifting to something more serious. You going to that dinner thing tonight? With the Montgomerys? Ryan's jaw tightened. I felt rather than saw his whole body go rigid. I don't have a choice. Please don't ask about it. Please don't make me explain why I have to go have dinner with a girl I don't care about when the only person I want to be with is sitting right in front of me. My heart stuttered. The only person he wanted to be with? That's rough, man. Jake said sympathetically. Family obligations are the worst. My mom's still trying to set me up with her friend's daughter. Never mind that I've told her approximately 7,000 times that I'm not interested. Exactly, Ryan said, and his eyes flickered to mine for just a second. Sometimes family doesn't care what you actually want. The message was clear, at least to me. But was it enough? Could unspoken glances and overheard thoughts really stand up against centuries of family expectations and arranged marriages? Sophie kicked me under the table. When I looked at her, she mouthed, "Talk to him." But how? What was I supposed to say? Hey Ryan, I know about the arranged marriage thing, and also I can hear your thoughts, so maybe we should discuss this incredibly weird situation we found ourselves in? The meal ended too quickly and too slowly at the same time. Ryan stood up first, his tray already cleared. He hesitated, looking like he wanted to say something. His mouth opened, then closed. The internal struggle played out across his face, each emotion flickering past like pages in a flip book. Just tell her.
Just say something.
Anything. Lemon, he finally said, my name sounding like a prayer on his lips. Can we talk? Later, I mean. After my classes. There's something I need to tell you. My throat felt tight. Okay. The relief that flooded through him was almost palpable. Thank God. Okay. I can do this. I'll tell her everything. About the pillow, about my feelings, about how I'm going to handle the Jessica situation. I'll make her understand. He left with Jake, but not before casting one last lingering look over his shoulder. Sophie immediately leaned across the table, her eyes sparkling with excitement and concern in equal measure.
Okay, spill.
What was that? The tension between you two could power a small city. I let out a shaky breath. He wants to talk later. Says he has something to tell me. This is good, Lemon. This is progress. Sophie grabbed my hands. Whatever happens, remember that you deserve someone who chooses you. Not out of obligation or convenience, but because they genuinely want to be with you. Don't settle for less than that. Her words wrapped around me like armor. She was right. I deserved to be chosen. The question was whether Ryan was brave enough to do the choosing. The rest of the day passed in a blur. I attended my classes, took notes that I wouldn't remember later, and tried to ignore the periodic updates from Ryan's thoughts. He was nervous, rehearsing what he wanted to say, second-guessing himself, then building up his courage again. It was endearing and frustrating in equal measure. By the time my last class ended, my nerves were frayed to the point of breaking. Ryan had texted me during lunch, asking to meet at the campus gardens at 5. It was a beautiful spot, with winding paths through carefully maintained flower beds and secluded benches tucked beneath weeping willow trees. It was also notably private, away from the usual traffic of students. I arrived 10 minutes early because apparently my anxiety needed the extra time to fully consume me. The gardens were bathed in the golden light of late afternoon, and the air smelled like jasmine and fresh earth. I found our designated meeting spot, a stone bench beside a small pond where koi fish swam in lazy circles. I sat down, smoothing my skirt over my knees, and waited. Ryan appeared exactly at 5 because of course he did. Punctuality was probably embedded in his DNA along with that perfect bone structure. He'd changed since this morning, now wearing dark jeans and a simple white button-down that somehow made him look both casual and devastatingly handsome. His hair was still slightly messy, like he'd been running his hands through it. She's here. Okay. Deep breath. You can do this. Hi, he said, sitting down beside me. Not across from me, but beside me, close enough that I could feel the warmth radiating from his body. Close enough that if I shifted just slightly, our shoulders would touch. For a long moment, we just sat there, watching the koi fish create ripples across the water's surface. The silence between us felt different now, charged with all the things we needed to say, but didn't know how to voice. Ryan spoke first. I need to tell you something, and I need you to not think I'm completely insane. I turned to face him, and was struck by how vulnerable he looked. This wasn't the cool, untouchable Ryan Carter that everyone at Thompson University knew. This was someone raw and real and terrified. Okay, I said carefully. He took a deep breath, his hands clenching and unclenching in his lap. A few weeks ago, I was involved in an accident. It was minor, just a car that ran a red light and clipped me while I was crossing the street. But I hit my head pretty hard when I fell. I hadn't known about any accident. My hand instinctively reached out, hovering near his arm before I pulled it back. Are you okay?
Physically, yes.
But something changed after that. He laughed, but it sounded hollow. I started having these weird dreams about a girl, someone I'd seen around campus but never really talked to. In the dreams, I was close to her, could feel her warmth, hear her thoughts. It felt so real. My heart was pounding now. This was it. He was going to explain the connection. Then one night, the dreams became something else. I wasn't just dreaming about her. I could feel everything she was feeling, like I was somehow connected to something she owned. It sounds crazy, I know, but… A body pillow, I interrupted softly. Ryan's head snapped toward me, his eyes wide with shock. How did you? I can't hear your thoughts, Ryan. The words tumbled out in a rush. When you're connected to the pillow, when I'm holding it, I hear everything you think. Every single thought. The color drained from his face. Oh God. She knows. She's known this whole time. All those thoughts about how much I like her, about the cold showers, about wanting to hold her for real. She heard everything. Every thought, I confirmed, and despite the seriousness of the moment, I couldn't help the small smile that tugged at my lips. Including right now, when you're panicking about me knowing about the cold showers. Ryan buried his face in his hands, and his shoulders shook. For a terrifying moment, I thought he was upset, but then I heard it. Laughter. He was actually laughing, the sound muffled by his palms but genuine and warm. Oh God, he said, finally looking up at me. His face was flushed, but there was a lightness in his expression I'd never seen before. This is mortifying. How long have you known? Since the first night.
When you video called me.
And you just let me keep making a fool of myself? You weren't making a fool of yourself. I shifted closer, emboldened by his laughter. You were being sweet and honest, even if you didn't know I could hear it. Do you have any idea how rare that is? His laughter faded into something softer, more intense. He looked at me like I was something precious and fragile. Lemon, I need to tell you something else. About Jessica and the dinner tonight. My stomach dropped. Here it was, the reality check I'd been dreading. My family and hers have had this arrangement since we were kids. Our grandfathers were business partners, and they thought it would be neat if their grandchildren ended up together. But that's all it is. An old man's wishful thinking. He turned his body fully toward me now, his knee brushing against mine. I've never wanted to marry Jessica. I barely even like her. She's spoiled and manipulative and everything I can't stand in a person. Then why? Because until recently, I didn't have a good enough reason to fight it. My family is traditional. They value duty and obligation above personal happiness. I was prepared to just go along with it, to make everyone happy except myself. His hand reached out, hesitating for just a moment before his fingers intertwined with mine. The touch sent electricity racing up my arm. But then I met you. Actually met you, not just passed you in the hallway. And suddenly I had something worth fighting for. I couldn't breathe. His hand was warm in mine, solid and real in a way the pillow connection had never been. What are you saying? I'm saying that I'm going to that dinner tonight, but only to tell them the truth. That I won't marry Jessica. That I can't marry her, because there's someone else. Someone who matters more than family obligations or business partnerships or centuries of tradition. She has to feel the same way. Please let her feel the same way. I can't have misread this.
Idoy whispered.
His eyebrows drew together in confusion. You do what? Feel the same way. You were wondering if you'd misread things, but you didn't. I've had a crush on you since freshman year, Ryan. Before the pillow connection, before any of this. I saw you and just fell. The smile that spread across his face was incandescent. Without warning, he pulled me closer, his free hand coming up to cup my cheek. His thumb brushed across my cheekbone with devastating gentleness. Can I kiss you? He asked, his voice rough. I've wanted to for so long, but I wanted to do it right. Not through some magical pillow connection, but like this. Face to face. Real. Instead of answering, I closed the distance between us. The kiss was soft at first, tentative, like we were both afraid of breaking the spell. His lips were warm and slightly chapped, and he tasted like mint and possibility. Then something shifted, the kiss deepening as weeks of tension and longing finally found their release. His hand slid from my cheek to tangle in my hair, and I clutched at his shirt, pulling him impossibly closer. When we finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Ryan rested his forehead against mine. His eyes were closed, a blissful smile playing at his lips. Wow, he breathed. Yeah, I agreed, equally dazed.
Wow.
We sat there for a while longer, wrapped up in each other, talking about everything and nothing. He told me about the accident in more detail, about how the doctors had said he might experience some unusual symptoms from the head trauma, but that this definitely hadn't been on their list. I told him about my childhood, about Sophie, about all the little things that made me who I was. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of pink and orange, Ryan glanced at his phone and sighed. I have to go soon. The dinner is at 7 and I need to change. Are you sure you want to do this? Confront your family? He squeezed my hand. I've never been more sure of anything. You're worth it, Lemon. Whatever consequences come from this, you're worth it. What if they don't accept it? What if they cut you off or... Then I'll figure it out. I'll get a job, work my way through school, whatever it takes. I'd rather have a difficult life with you than an easy one with someone I don't love.
Love.
The word hung in the air between us, significant and terrifying and wonderful. Besides, he continued, a mischievous glint in his eye, I have some money saved up. And I'm a fantastic coder. I could always start some app or something. Find your soulmate through magical furniture connection. We'd make millions. I laughed, shoving his shoulder playfully. You're ridiculous. I'm yours, he corrected, growing serious again. If you'll have me, I'll have you, I confirmed, and sealed it with another kiss. Ryan left for his dinner shortly after, but not before making me promise to keep my phone close. He wanted to text me updates, he said, though I suspected he also just wanted to maintain the connection. I watched him walk away, his confident stride returning now that we'd cleared the air, and felt a warmth in my chest that had nothing to do with magical bonds. That night, I laid in bed with a cat pillow tucked between my legs, waiting. Sophie had demanded a full debriefing the moment I'd returned to the dorm, and she'd squealed so loudly when I told her about the kiss that our neighbors had banged on the wall. Now she was asleep, but I was wide awake, my phone clutched in one hand. It buzzed at 9:47 p.m. Ryan, I did it. Told them everything. My heart raced as I typed back. Me, and Ryan. My mother cried. My father threatened to disown me. Jessica threw a wine glass at my head.
Me, oh God, Ryan. I'm so sorry.
Ryan, don't be. My grandfather surprisingly laughed. Said it was about time someone in the family showed some backbone. He's on our side. Me, really? Ryan, really? He's apparently been in love with someone who wasn't my grandmother since he was young. He gets it. He's going to work on my parents. Said he didn't build a business empire just to watch his grandson be miserable. Me. I don't know what to say. Ryan, say you'll have breakfast with me tomorrow. Officially. As my girlfriend. I smiled at the screen, my eyes stinging with happy tears. Me. I'd love to. Through the pillow, I felt his relief and joy wash over me like a wave. I held it closer, breathing in the faint scent that always reminded me of him now. I love you, Lemon Wilson. I'm going to spend every day proving that you made the right choice. I love you too, I whispered into the darkness, knowing somehow that he could feel it even if he couldn't hear it. The next few weeks were a whirlwind. Ryan's father remained stubbornly opposed to our relationship, but his grandfather was true to his word. He put pressure on the family, reminding them that times had changed and that forcing Ryan into a loveless marriage would only breed resentment. Jessica, furious at being rejected, tried to spread rumors about me around campus. But they never quite gained traction, mostly because Ryan publicly and proudly claimed me as his girlfriend at every opportunity. He'd hold my hand in the hallways, kiss me goodbye before classes, and generally make it clear that I wasn't some secret he was ashamed of. Sophie became fast friends with Jake, who turned out to be dating someone himself and was thrilled to go on double dates. The four of us became inseparable, a tight-knit group that felt like family. But the strangest thing was the pillow. As Ryan and I grew closer in real life, the magical connection began to fade. At first, I panicked, thinking it meant something was wrong between us. But Ryan just laughed and pulled me close. Don't you get it? He said, tucking a strand of hair behind my ear. We don't need magic anymore. We have something better. We have trust and honesty and real connection. The pillow was just a bridge to get us here. He was right. Within a month, the connection was completely gone. The pillow was just a pillow again, comfortable and normal. I still slept with it most nights, but now it was because I liked the support, not because I was chasing a supernatural bond. Ryan started sleeping over sometimes after Sophie gave her approval. On those nights, I didn't need the pillow at all. I had the real thing, warm and solid beside me, his arms wrapped around me as we whispered secrets in the dark. Finals came and went. Ryan aced all his exams as expected, but I surprised myself by doing really well too. It turned out that having a boyfriend who was a genius came with some excellent study perks. He was patient and thorough when explaining concepts, and he made even the most boring subjects seem interesting. The semester ended with a celebration. Ryan's grandfather threw a dinner party, officially welcoming me into the family. Ryan's mother was still frosty, but she was thawing slowly. His father remained absent, but Ryan seemed at peace with that. "He'll come around eventually," Ryan said as we danced on the patio under strings of fairy lights. "Or he won't. Either way, I have what matters most. Which is you, obviously." He spun me out and pulled me back in, dipping me dramatically. "And my grandfather's approval. That man controls the trust fund." I laughed, swatting his chest. "You're terrible. You love it." "I love you," I corrected, and watched his expression soften into something so tender it made my chest ache. "I love you too," he murmured, pressing a kiss to my forehead. More than I ever thought possible. Summer break arrived with the promise of long, lazy days. Ryan invited me to spend 2 weeks at his grandfather's beach house in the Hamptons. Sophie came along, naturally, and brought her new boyfriend Marcus, a guy from her chemistry class who had the patience of a saint and laughed at all her terrible jokes. The beach house was stunning, all white wood and floor-to-ceiling windows that overlooked the ocean. Ryan's grandfather was there for the first few days, regaling us with stories from his youth and not so subtly hinting that he expected great-grandchildren someday. Ryan would turn bright red every time, while I tried not to choke on my drink. On our 4th night there, after Sophie and Marcus had gone to bed early, Ryan led me down to the private beach. The moon was full, casting a silver path across the water. He brought blankets and pillows, creating a cozy nest in the sand. "This is beautiful," I breathed, settling into his arms as we lay back to watch the stars. "I wanted to do something special," he said. "To celebrate." "Celebrate what?" He shifted, reaching into his pocket and pulling out a small box. My heart stopped. "Relax," he said with a gentle laugh, seeing my expression. "It's not a ring. Not yet, anyway. We're way too young for that. But I wanted to give you something." He opened the box to reveal a delicate silver necklace. The pendant was a tiny cat, curled up as if sleeping, with a small diamond embedded in its collar. "It's perfect," I whispered, tears pricking my eyes. "I had it custom-made. I wanted you to have something to remember how we started. The weird, magical, completely improbable way we found each other." He took the necklace out and fastened it around my neck, his fingers brushing my skin and sending shivers down my spine. "This is my promise to you, Lemon. That no matter what challenges we face, no matter how difficult things get, I'm choosing you. Every single day, I'm choosing you." I turned in his arms, cupping his face in my hands. The moonlight caught in his eyes, making them gleam silver. "And I choose you. Today, tomorrow, always." We kissed as the waves crashed nearby, the sound mixing with the pounding of my heart. This was everything I'd never dared to dream of. A love that was real and solid, and chose to exist despite every obstacle in its way. When we finally pulled apart, Ryan grinned mischievously. "Want to know a secret? Always. I actually bought that pillow for you. Before the accident, before any of the magic stuff happened." I blinked in surprise.
What? How?
"I'd been watching you for months, trying to work up the courage to talk to you. One day, I overheard you telling Sophie how you couldn't sleep without a body pillow and that yours had gotten ruined in the wash. So, I may have researched what kind you might like and had one delivered to your dorm. Anonymously, of course, because I was too much of a coward to attach my name to it." My mind reeled. "That was you? I thought it was just a delivery mistake." "Nope. That was me, being a creepy stalker who was so gone for you that I bought you furniture." He looked embarrassed but pleased. "The accident happened 2 days after I sent it. The doctors said I was unconscious for about 6 hours, and when I woke up, I had this weird awareness of being in 2 places at once. It took me another day to figure out I was somehow connected to the pillow I'd sent you. So, the universe literally brought us together," I said slowly. "You liked me, I liked you, and fate decided to give us a very strange push in the right direction. Looks that way." He tucked a strand of hair behind my ear, a gesture that had become so familiar and dear to me. Best accident I ever had. We stayed on the beach until the sun started to rise, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold. Ryan told me about his dreams for the future, how he wanted to start a tech company that focused on accessibility, making sure everyone could benefit from new innovations regardless of their background. I told him about my own aspirations, my desire to work in publishing and help bring diverse voices to mainstream audiences. We're going to change the world, he said confidently. Together, I added. Together, he agreed. The rest of summer passed in a golden haze. We returned to campus in the fall as an established couple, no longer dancing around our feelings or hiding behind magical connections. Ryan's father finally reached out, awkwardly inviting us both to dinner. It was tense and uncomfortable, but it was a start. Jessica had transferred to a different university, apparently unable to stand seeing Ryan and me together. I felt a little bad about that, but mostly I just felt relieved. Sophie and I moved into an off-campus apartment for our sophomore year. Ryan lived in a different building with Jake, but he might as well have lived with us for all the time he spent at our place. He had his own drawer in my dresser, his own toothbrush in the bathroom, his favorite coffee mug in the kitchen. The cat pillow, now just a regular pillow with no magical properties, lived on my bed. Sometimes Ryan would see it and laugh, shaking his head at the absurdity of how we'd gotten together. But there was always fondness in his eyes, gratitude for the strange twist of fate that had brought us into each other's lives. 1 year became 2, then 3. We grew and changed, faced challenges and celebrated victories, always side by side. Ryan started his company during our junior year, and I interned at a major publishing house over the summer. His mother warmed up to me considerably after I helped her plan a charity gala that raised record-breaking funds for children's literacy programs. His father remained distant but civil, which was better than nothing. Senior year arrived with the bittersweet knowledge that this chapter of our lives was ending. But instead of feeling scared, I felt excited. Because whatever came next, we'd face it together. On graduation day, as we stood in our caps and gowns surrounded by our families, Ryan's grandfather pulled me aside. "You've been good for him," the old man said, his eyes twinkling. "Made him brave. Made him better. That's what love should do." "He's made me better too," I replied honestly. "Braver, stronger, more confident in who I am." "Good. That's very good." He patted my hand. "I'm planning to retire soon. Hand over the business to Ryan. He'll need a partner he can trust by his side. Someone smart and capable who won't let him get too big for his britches." It took me a moment to understand what he was suggesting. "Mr. Carter, I don't know anything about running a business." "Neither did I when I started. You'll learn. More importantly, you have integrity and compassion. Those can't be taught." He winked at me. "Just think about it. The offer stands whenever you're ready." As he walked away, Ryan appeared at my elbow. "What was that about?" "Your grandfather just offered me a job." His eyes widened. "Seriously? That's amazing. Are you going to take it?" "I don't know. I love publishing. That's always been my dream." "Then do publishing," Ryan said immediately. "Don't let my family pressure you into something you don't want. We'll figure out the rest." This was why I loved him. He never tried to control me or push me into a box. He just supported my dreams and trusted me to make my own choices. "What if we did both?" I said slowly, an idea forming. "Your company focuses on tech, right? But what if we expanded into digital publishing? Made books more accessible, created platforms for new authors, used technology to revolutionize how people read and share stories." Ryan's face lit up with that particular expression he got when he was excited about an idea. "That's brilliant. We could develop apps that help people with dyslexia or visual impairments. Create tools for authors to self-publish without losing quality. Build communities around different genres." He grabbed my hands, practically vibrating with energy. "Lemon, that's genius. Why didn't I think of this before?" "Because you needed your better half to point you in the right direction," I teased. "My better half," he repeated softly, all the excitement transforming into something deeper.
"Yeah.
"You really are, aren't you?" 2 years later, Carter Wilson Publishing Technologies launched its first product, an app that used AI to help dyslexic readers process text more easily. It won awards, changed lives, and put our company on the map. Ryan handled the technical side while I managed the publishing partnerships and content acquisition. We were a perfect team, complementing each other's strengths and compensating for each other's weaknesses. But the best part of our success was that it never changed what mattered most. We still had breakfast together every morning when our schedules allowed. We still texted each other random thoughts throughout the day. We still curled up on the couch every Sunday with bad movies and good takeout. We'd built something real and lasting, with or without magic to help us along. On the 5-year anniversary of the night I'd first heard Ryan's thoughts through the pillow, he took me back to the campus gardens where we'd had our first real conversation. The university looked different now. We were alumni, no longer students, but the gardens remained unchanged. The same stone bench sat beside the same pond, koi fish still swimming in lazy circles. "I've been thinking about what my grandfather said at graduation," Ryan said as we sat down. About partners you can trust. Ryan, if this is about the business. It's not. Well, not entirely. He shifted to face me, taking both my hands in his. You're my partner in everything, Lemon. In work, in life, in all the adventures I want to have. And I don't want to spend another day without making that official. He slid off the bench, kneeling on the ground in front of me. My heart stopped as he pulled out a small velvet box. 5 years ago, I told you I was choosing you. Every day since then, that choice has only gotten easier and more certain. You're my best friend, my business partner, my favorite person in the entire world. You make me laugh, you challenge me to be better, you stand by me even when I'm being an idiot. He opened the box, revealing a stunning ring with a center diamond surrounded by smaller stones. Lemon Wilson, will you marry me? Tears streamed down my face. Through the blur, I could see his nervous expression, the hope and love shining in his eyes. Yes, I managed to choke out. Yes, of course yes. He slipped the ring onto my finger, then pulled me into his arms, lifting me up and spinning me around. I laughed and cried at the same time, holding onto him as tightly as I could. When he finally set me down, we were both grinning like idiots. I love you so much, I said, cupping his face and kissing him thoroughly. I love you too. I'm going to love you for the rest of my life. We were married 8 months later in a ceremony that blended both our families. Ryan's father even walked me down the aisle alongside my own dad, a gesture that meant more than words could express. Sophie was my maid of honor, naturally, and Jake was Ryan's best man. Ryan's grandfather officiated, beaming with pride the entire time. As I stood at the altar, looking into Ryan's eyes as we exchanged vows, I thought about how far we'd come. From a girl with a crush and a boy too shy to act on his feelings, to partners in every sense of the word. The magical pillow connection had been the spark, but everything that came after, the trust, the love, the life we'd built together, that was all us. I now pronounce you husband and wife, Ryan's grandfather declared. Ryan, you may kiss your bride. And he did, dipping me dramatically just like he had at that first party all those years ago, while our friends and family cheered and applauded. Later that night, in our hotel room before we left for our honeymoon in Santorini, I found a wrapped present on the bed. What's this? I asked Ryan, who was loosening his tie, with a satisfied grin. Open it. I tore off the paper to reveal a box. Inside was a brand new cat-shaped body pillow, identical to the original one but with one key difference. It had a tiny embroidered heart on its collar with our initials inside. Ryan Carter, you absolute sap, I said, laughing through fresh tears. Hey, I figured we should keep the tradition alive. You never know when we might need a little magic. He wrapped his arms around me from behind, resting his chin on my shoulder. Besides, now that you're going to be holding me every night for real, I figured the pillow could use a break. I turned in his arms, the pillow forgotten as I kissed my husband. My partner. My love. No more magic needed, I murmured against his lips. We've got something better. What's that? Us. Just us. And that's more than enough. As we stood there in the soft lamplight, I could have sworn I felt a warmth in the air, like the universe itself was smiling. The cat pillow sat on the bed behind us, a reminder of where we'd started and how far we'd come. Magic had brought us together, but love, real, messy, complicated, beautiful love, had made us stay. And that was the best ending I could have ever asked for.